Their question was, again from the Office of the Vice President for Research, and the question was, how do we prepare students for jobs that don't currently exist? How do we create professionals with the ability to fluidly navigate a changing career path?
Sorry, I'll just take a second to remind you guys that it would be great if you could grade the presentations as they go, because I see not very many people are doing that, so just reminding you, just in case. And here we go. Thank you.
For our question, we were a group of engineers, educators, bioscientists, management majors, and liberal arts majors. So our focus was on how do we get students to think ahead or think more broadly. So we were looking at, have there been other ages in our history where we've come to these points in time that are leading to that next change in our society? So that sort of started us thinking about, okay, what could we do with our students to really continue this curiosity, this passion, this desire for lifelong learning, so that it just continues beyond just the problems that we see when students just memorize concepts without really applying those to what they need to do. So as we look at this map here, it really focuses on the center being the students, but also the role of educators. And the example of what is that sandbox like? And how do we engage faculty to talk to each other about what they're doing, rather than being in silos on their research. And we often talked about how the academy forces us to compete directly against each other for funding, rather than collaborating and working with each other. And we find that if opportunities like this, for example, this sandbox could bring people together at different points over the course of the year, that could lead to this opportunity to be better role models for our students, so that they themselves can come together and talk about these concepts. We also talked about this whole concept of Google free time, where if you work for Google, you get 20% of your time to develop anything that you want to do. Imagine if we gave our students that opportunity, that 20% to develop something, to move forward, to think about an idea, and to encourage that innovation or that spirit to think outside the box or think outside the sandbox. We also were looking at in terms of what could we do with industry. Oftentimes, as was stated at the table, change is gradual, but sometimes it's the folks at the industry level that are sort of ahead of the curve. And what could we be doing to better interface with industry so that we can better prepare our students? In some cases, we're using textbooks or concepts that are very outdated. So when our students go out into the real world, they don't know how to be effective practitioners. They know how to be good researchers, but they can't put into practice what they're learning. So looking at what type of interactions do we have with industry and the academy to better those relationships? Is it more longer-term co-op opportunities? Is it encouraging students to go outside and then coming back with their graduate degrees? So we just sort of looked at a whole range of different issues, but we feel like on a broader level, it really is going to take a sort of a perception shift. And the example, for example, about 10 years ago, university presidents across the country got together and they were exposed to this concept of being a top research institution. So every president came afterwards with this focus. We want to be a top 30 research institution. And everything changed, especially here at Virginia Tech. So what if we brought folks together and talked about, if we want to make this change happen, how do we do that within our campuses?
All right. I see no hands shooting up with questions. So we're going to move on to table number 9.